We all know by now that good quality doesn't have to be expensive, but sometimes you might have to pay that bit more to get something a bit more special. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some of my favorite brands that are a bit more on the expensive side, but they do produce some special stuff. These brands have helped me develop my own personal style, and they've taken my interest in fashion to the next level. They help to teach me to buy less and buy well, and I'm proud of all the products that I own from these brands. I still get excited to wear items from them, even though I've had these items for years, and I find myself reaching for those items time and time again over other items in my wardrobe. So even though the pieces from these brands cost more initially, the amount of joy and the amount of wear I get from them justifies the extra cost for me. The brands on this list all make great quality items that will last you for years, so if you haven't tried them out yet, then I can't recommend them enough. If you like this video at any point, please feel free to drop it a like. And now that's all out the way, let's start talking about the brands. So in no particular order, the first brand on the list is Emmy. So Emmy is a French brand, and it was created by the designer Alexandre Justifies. And I apologize for the pronunciation, I tried my best, but you can see where the name comes from. You may have seen that logo, which is that heart with the A underneath, all over the place right now, because they're a very popular brand at the moment, but for good reason. Their clothing is simple, well-made, and timeless. Everything that I've had from them, I've got a lot of wear out of, and I do love their branding. I love that little heart logo. But the brand like to produce clothing that blurs the line between smart and casual clothing, and that's exactly the kind of clothing that I look out for. The tailoring of their clothing is absolutely beautiful, and you can tell there's been a lot of attention to detail with each piece. When a brand produces simple clothing, then the cut and the quality is the only thing that's going to be doing the talking, and luckily, Emmy delivers. A lot of their clothing is made up of neutral colours and bold primary colours. Now, I don't wear a lot of colour, as a lot of you may already know, but I would wear colour from Emmy. They really do choose some of the most delicious reds, blues and greens that I've seen from a brand, and even though they're loud pieces, because they're so simple, they're still going to be very versatile. As you probably guessed by now, the brand produce clothing, but as well as clothing, they also offer accessories and footwear for both men and women, and they do all areas really well. I normally find when a brand tries to do too much or a bit of everything, some area suffers, but this isn't the case with Emmy. I think there's something for everyone from the brand, so if you haven't checked them out yet, check them out. So the second brand I'm going to be talking about is Acne Studios from Stockholm, Sweden. Acne was one of the first higher end brands that caught my eye, but it was the prices that put me off at the time. But I finally took the plunge and bought my first piece from them about 4 years ago, and I haven't stopped buying from them since. They probably make up about a third of my current wardrobe, which is why you probably see me wearing them so much over on Instagram. If you're following me, of course. And if you're not, you know what to do. But just like Emmy, they produce smart casual clothing that's very easy to dress up and dress down. However, Acne is a bit more difficult to try and explain, because even though a lot of their pieces are very clean and simple, some of it is quite experimental and a bit out there. I see this as a very good thing. It keeps things quite exciting, and it means there's going to be something for everyone. But like Emmy again, they're a brand that do all areas well, so footwear, accessories and clothing, they do it all beautifully. I do find it rare these days to find a clothing brand that also have really highly rated sneakers, and Acne and Emmy are two brands that do this well, and we've got another one coming up. But where Acne shines for me is with their quality and their tailoring. So although the pieces that I normally go for from Acne are very simple, the cut of the clothing speaks volumes, and that's what I look for with my clothing. All of the stuff I've had from them holds up really well, I wear it a lot, and it still looks pretty much brand new. So you definitely get your money's worth with Acne. For me, they always feel like a bit of a special brand, and I will continue to buy from them for years, I'm sure. Next, we've got Emmy Leondor, and you probably need no introduction to these guys because they're all the rage right now. But if you haven't heard of them, the brand was created by Teddy Santis in New York in 2014. So they're a relatively new brand. Anyway, I remember the first sweatshirt that I ever bought from these guys. I think it was back in 2016, and I was absolutely blown away by the quality. And still to this day, they're some of the best quality sweatshirts that I've ever tried out. Over the last few years, the brand has grown massively in popularity, And it's no surprise really, they deserve all the success they get. Primarily they're known as a streetwear and lifestyle brand, but the pieces are so versatile that you can wear them whatever style you're into. They're another brand that do everything really well, and they're known just as much for their accessories and their footwear as they are their clothing. I promise it is really rare to find brands that do all of these areas so well. It just doesn't appear so from this list, but that's why they're on this list. Also, if you haven't checked out their lookbooks yet, then they're definitely worth checking out. Even if you don't buy anything from the brand, there's so much inspiration that you can take from their lookbooks and apply the ideas to your own outfits. You can tell a lot of brands out there at the moment are heavily inspired by Emmy Leondor, so much so that some of them are just straight up copying them. This is definitely a sign that Emmy Leondor are doing everything right, and they're definitely leading the way for a lot of brands at the moment. But if, like me, you're a massive fan of layering, then Emmy Leondor is definitely a brand worth paying attention to. They make simple, good quality clothing that all works well when paired together. But the pieces, they're going to last you for years, so even though they're more expensive, they're going to last you for a long time, so they're definitely worth the money. They're also always doing collaborations with other brands like New Balance, Clarks, Woolrich and Drake's, so there's never a dull moment with Emmy Leondor. So next on the list we've got Drôle de Monsieur. Drôle de Monsieur is a French brand that was started by friends Danny Dos Santos and Maxime Schwab, and here's a picture of the lads now. Danny was one of the first people I followed back in the day on Instagram because his style was something that I always admired. He made simple and minimal items look really interesting, and this can be really hard to do. Because of how much I loved his style, I was immediately drawn to the brand, and you can see his style in the pieces that they make. You may have already seen the brand slogan knocking about the place, "Not from Paris, Madame," and it basically means it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you can be whoever you want to be. And I really like that. I describe the brand style as a smarter streetwear brand with a modern and relaxed look. They do experiment a lot with different colours, fabrics and patterns, and although those kinds of pieces are not what I'd normally go for, I would from Drôle de Monsieur because they do it so well. But they do also have simple and basic items in neutral colours, and they do their basics really well. But Drôle de Monsieur, I think they're going to get more and more popular in years to come. I think they're a brand that are going to blow up, so they're definitely worth paying attention to. So those are 4 brands that I will always have a massive soft spot for, even though they do cost a bit more. They're my go-to brands when I want to buy myself something a bit special, and I know the items from these brands are going to last me a long time, so I don't mind paying that bit extra. They've all had a huge impact on my style, and I'm always excited to see what they're going to do next. But anyway, if you like this video, please do drop it a like. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. See ya.